Hello and welcome to our third tutorial. This practice today is going to be practices that are on the go. So anything you can do on the move, especially if you work a lot sitting at a desk or looking down or just seated, period. These are things that can help kind of relieve a little bit of the day-to-day stress on the body. So the first thing we're going to do is just a simple neck stretch. Bring the right hand down beside you. Left hand comes up over the head and gently touches the right ears. So just stay here, inhale, and then as you exhale, drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. Feeling a nice stretch through the neck. Taking several breaths here, breathing into the right shoulder. For these stretches, you can find a seat anywhere. You can sit in a chair, you can sit on your yoga mat, on the floor, just anywhere where the spine can be long. So taking 5 to 10 breaths on that side. And then for good measure, reach your left arm up, and then even a little side stretch over to the right side. And breathing into the length of the left side of the body through the ribs. And then on an exhale, lower down. Do the same thing on the opposite side. So the left hand comes down beside you. The right hand comes up over, gently touches that left ear. And then on an exhale, pull your right ear towards your right shoulder. So if you don't have space to drop your left hand down right beside you, you can reach it out a little bit more if you're on the ground, or if you're in a chair, you do have that little bit more space. Just a little tiny bit of a deeper stretch, releasing any stress that you hold in the neck. And we all look down too much, whether it's at our phone, our computers. Relieving that stress, that tension in the neck, let it go. On an inhale, reach the right arm up and then tilt it over to your left side. Keep the left shoulder down away from the ear and breathing into the length of the right side of the body. You can look up, or again, if you still have that tension in your neck, then let your neck be neutral or even down. You don't want any extra stress there. We're trying to relieve that. Just breathing deeply. Inhale up and exhale, release. Now to undo all the hunching forward, we're going to open the spine a little bit. So again, finding any comfortable seat. Just finding any comfortable seat. If you're sitting in a chair, then scoot forward. You're going to bring your hands to your low back. For this specific one, let the fingertips point down towards the bum. So already your chest is open more than it usually is. Fingertips point down, pull the elbows together. Just by pulling the elbows together, the shoulders come back, pull the belly in, and then maybe arch the spine just a little bit, maybe look up. If that's too intense, then keep the face forward. But here you're just opening the chest, letting the breath be natural through the chest, through the heart. And breathe. Keep pulling shoulders and elbows back. After a few deep breaths, you can release. So while we're here, while you're forward in your chair or in your seat, you're going to take a seated cat-cow. So you can stay seated like that, or you can move to a more comfortable seat if that's not in your practice. So any comfortable seat, you can let your hands rest on your knees, whether the knees are together or whether they're apart. And we're going to move the chest again, undoing all that poor posture. So inhale, shoulders back, moving into a cow. Look up if that's okay. And then exhale, really curl through the spine. Tuck the chin into the chest, push the ribs back away from you. And again, inhale, open. And exhale. more times. So if you participated in the last tutorial, the vinyasa, this is also a vinyasa because you're moving with the breath. Each different spot, each space is associated with a part of the breath. Here you're opening, massaging the vertebrae. This is one of the best stretches you can do for your spine. If you have space to do it on your hands and knees, then try that. If you don't, then just a seated cat-cow is more than enough. So take one more here. Inhale into your cow, open, look up, and then exhale into your cat. Good, so that's good for your neck, the side body, and the spine. Now we're gonna do hamstrings and even some more spine, because a lot of us hold tension in our back. So, just like you would in an uttanasana, a forward fold, you're gonna fold forward here, but really bending the knees. So this is called a ragdoll. You'll bend the knees, let the spine curl naturally, and then grab onto opposite elbows. And just hang. So drop the crown of the head down, maybe even shake it, the head side to side, forward and back. You can rock a little bit here, and then maybe add some swaying. This is a little bit more subtle hamstring stretch, or maybe if you've been sitting a lot, it's more intense. But it's a little bit more yin, promoting flexibility. And just breathing into this. If you have your hands grabbing your elbow, then cross to the opposite elbows on top. And just sway again. You can even bend your knees so much to where your belly is resting on top, promoting more of a curve in your spine. You can wiggle, or you can find a little bit of stillness, whatever you need in your day. And just take a few more breaths here. And then rolling all the way up or coming back to a seat. And that's the hamstrings and the spine. Another place that we tend to hold a lot of stress is in your hips. So if you have access to a chair, it's really nice to do this one on a chair. If you don't, you can do it on your yoga mat or on the floor. So this is just a version of pigeon, a seated pigeon. So if you're seated in a chair, then let your legs come and your feet fall on the floor. Pull the right knee in and cross the outside of that ankle over the left thigh. Avoid any part of the left knee. Keep the right foot flexed. So here you are. If you're in a chair, beautiful, you're seated. If you're seated on the ground or on your mat, you can stay here, or you can bend this left foot in and find your seated pigeon like this. Try to keep the spine long, and I always encourage wiggling and movement. If you don't want to wiggle, you want to be still, then be still. Listen to what your body is telling you. You just breathe into the outside of the hip. If you're seated in a chair, you can fold forward over your legs. Imagine that right knee is pushing away from the body. So even if it's pulling up, it's pushing away. Same thing if you're seated in a chair. And then release that. Both legs come out, or the soles of the feet can come together. And again, extend your left leg out, your right leg out. Left out so the ankle comes over your right thigh, avoiding the right knee. Flex your left foot. Either sit up, lengthening through the spine, or you can fold forward. Notice the difference between one side and the other. Sometimes it's pretty intense. Sometimes not so much. It's more intense the closer that you pull it in, or the further that you fold. So if that's too much, if it's too deep of a stretch, then don't come up so high. You can push this foot further down. Or if you're seated, just don't bend down as far. Breathing into the hip. Deep breaths always help to relieve stress during the middle of the day or at the end of the day. And letting that go. Our last stretch that we're going to do is eagle arms. So there are a few ways that you can enter this. The first one, the right arm will come on top of the left. So the right arm comes over to the left shoulder. The left arm comes under and over to the right shoulder. So here you are. The right arm is on top, and you can pull the elbows out. Feel that space in between the shoulder blades. If eagle arm is in your practice, you can bring the back of the hands together or even wrap. Wherever you are, push the elbows out. Push the hands out and maybe even lift up. Shoulders down. You can stay like this, or you can lift on an inhale. Lots of tension escaping the shoulders. Kind of all that weight that you hold on your shoulders, letting it go. And then release. This time the left arm will come on top. You can stay here at this hug. Maybe that's all you need today is a hug. And let's stay here, or you can pull the elbows out, back of the hands come together, or you can intertwine the hands. Shoulders down, elbows out, and then hands reach up and away from the face. Breathing in between the shoulder blades. Feeling that nice space. Finding stillness in the breath. Release that. So those are a few stretches you can do at any time during your day to return back to your body, to let go of any stress. Maybe it's within your body, maybe it's within your breath, or within your life, wherever you are. Thank you for practicing, but your body thanks you more. Namaste.